Hey, good morning, FCF. It's day 5 in our journey. We're looking at the subject of, what do we do when we're slandered, when we're maligned, when we're spoken to or spoken about unfairly or hurtfully. And just a little something to think about before we read the scripture. The closer the people are to us, the more painful it is typically when they slander us, or they say something untrue about us, or have an unfair opinion about us, or a low opinion about us that we know is just not accurate. And that's a time where we've got to be even more dependent upon God than ever. We're going to see this in the life of Jesus. A very short portion of scripture. We're in Mark's Gospel, Mark chapter 3, and I'm going to start in verse 20. It says, "Then Jesus entered a house, and again a crowd gathered, so that he and his disciples were not even able to eat. When his family," now this is Jesus' family, "when his family heard about this, they went to take charge of him, for they said," his family, mind you, "he is out of his mind." So we'll just stop right there. Here's Jesus, completely revealing the heart of God, pouring himself out in doing good to people, healing the sick, delivering the demonized, doing extraordinary things. We're finally getting a glimpse into the heart of God as he really is. And yet Jesus' own family, so we're talking his mother and his brothers and his sisters. We don't know if Joseph was involved in this, Joseph being his stepfather, but nevertheless, his family, because he was so involved in the ministry, they come to him thinking he's lost his mind. He's not even cogent anymore. And so what a horrible thing. Put this into our everyday life. Maybe even you've experienced this yourself. Maybe you went through a season in life where you were doing some things, involved in some things. Maybe they were the right things. Maybe they were good things. Maybe right now, maybe you're involved in church activities. And there are people in your family, people that are close to you, people that matter a lot to you, but they just think you're crazy. You're crazy to be involved in yourself like that. Something's gone wrong with you. You've got suddenly a loose screw to be involved with those holy rollers. Maybe it's because of your commitment of time. Maybe it's because of commitment of your finances. It could be any number of things. But any way you look at it, when people that are close to you, particularly family members, really start to talk and say things like, I think he or she is starting to lose their mind. I think they're in real mental, emotional trouble. This was a serious situation. It says they were coming to take charge of him. They literally were going to try to drag him away. Now, of course, Jesus has none of it. But it puts us into a very vulnerable spot where we feel deeply wounded. We can also start to question ourselves. We can get confused. And of course, ultimately, we tend to get angry and lash out because we come to ourselves and know that it's not true. I think the thing to tuck away is if it can happen to the best that the planet has ever seen, if it could happen to Jesus from his own family, we're talking Mary, Mary's here leading the charge, then certainly you and I should not be completely surprised if it happens to us. That doesn't make the pain any easier to deal with, but it gives us that pause. That sometimes that little pause is just enough that we commit ourselves to God. We look for him to give us strength. We look for him to give us clarity and assurance. We pour out our anxiety before him, and he sustains us so that we can work our way going through these things without falling into the trap of anger, bitterness, trying to justify or defend ourselves too much. And I know that sounds crazy. I'm not saying don't tell the truth about yourself, but if we try to justify or defend ourselves too much, it actually digs us in deeper in people's they're already intending to think the worst about us, and it just kind of gives them fuel for the fire. So don't be shocked if even you have family members that think you're losing your mind because of your devotion to the work and the will of God. Thank you very much.